Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot. This reading is for Sunday, August 6th. I can't believe it's August already. I'm going to start off with this new quote I found from Mark Twain, who said, and I'm paraphrasing because I didn't bring it upstairs with me, "If you always tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything." Yeah, I'll take that. I apologize for my voice again. I am not sick. I just knew I was going to do a reading, and I sat down and was looking at some old videos of my husband who passed away, and that was not a good idea. Maybe later, but anyway, so I've been crying. But anyway, so I apologize for my voice. There's so much going on in the sky. I can't even talk about all of it, so I'm just going to focus on a couple things. I will just say that right now we have, I think, when I say planets, that includes Sun, Moon, Chiron, which is an asteroid. That's just what astrology calls them because it's quicker. There are 5 planets going retrograde, which means backwards. They're not literally going backwards, they just appear that way from the Earth, which has an effect on astrology. And by the end of this month, we will have 7 objects out of 10 or 11 that are going to be retrograde. That is really a lot. And what that means is generally that it can be difficult to move forward. It's a time of review and looking within and reevaluating and also integrating things from the past. So past traumas, even past blessings, past whatever. It's a really good time for a review. And we have tonight we have Venus conjunct Black Moon Lilith in Leo at about 24 degrees. And Venus, of course, is the feminine planet, the goddess of love and beauty and relationships and our inner desires. And Black Moon Lilith is, in traditional, if you read about her, if you look her up, you're going to find out she was Adam's first wife in Christianity, and she wouldn't submit to male authority, so she got kicked out and replaced by Eve. But actually, she was worshipped as a goddess long before Christianity. She was Babylonian, I think. And she represents the darkness in us, not dark in the sense of bad, but dark in the sense of your hidden self that you have had to sort of put away, or that has been shamed, or but it's part of you that just refuses to shut up. It's it's in there and it's going to come out sometimes, which is a good thing. And when I say feminine energy, I don't really like that word, because it should really be receptive energy, because it's not about men and women, it's about active versus receptive. One is going out, and receptive energy is what's coming in. But of course, that means the energy that's already within you, you need to integrate. You need to feel it. It's feeling over doing. So those 2 feminine energies are conjunct in Leo, which is the sign of the heart. So I feel like this is telling us that we need to look backwards in our lives and examine old relationships and where we've been hurt, maybe, and maybe a time to process some of that and, let it go, or learn what you can from it, or whatever. And we have Pluto still square the north nodes. Pluto's in Capricorn at the tail end, and the north nodes are at the tail end of Aries, because the nodes move backwards through the zodiac. So they are square each other. So this tells me that it's like a karmic thing. So Pluto makes you dive down into your subconscious, whether you like it or not, and asks you to either transform some energy or lose it, because it's either gonna die or be transformed. That's what it is. It's the sign of rebirth. And the north nodes in Aries are about moving forward. It's about the future, and Aries likes action and desire, so you might be feeling a little frustrated right now, because part of you wants to move forward And part of you feels like you have to review everything. And you're kind of stuck in the past, whether you like it or not. That's what I'm getting anyway. So I love this deck, but I don't use it very often because it's very difficult when I shuffle, the cards stick together. And I'm never sure if I'm pulling the correct one, but this is called the Wild Unknown Tarot. So I started with the overall energy card, and I got the Two of Pentacles. Okay, this is usually balancing something. Should I choose this or that? In this deck, I believe it means change. And that makes sense because we have so many, there's just so much going on right now. It's kind of like we are transforming, or we need to be. So you could be feeling pulled in two directions, however, and not sure which way to go. And then the next two cards I pull, and this is interesting because they're opposites, but they go together. So we get the High Priestess, which is the feminine energy. It's usually the moon. But this is, this is your receptive side. This is your inner world. This is your emotional side. And the next card I drew was the Emperor, which is the father and, the masculine energy. So I feel like the cards are telling us that what we're balancing right now is between the masculine and feminine, i.e., when I say that, I don't necessarily mean male and female. I mean the active, like doing things out in the world has to be balanced with your inner life. So that's what I'm getting from that. And then I drew, let's see which one came next. Then I drew the Nine of Wands, which I love this deck because if you look at it sideways, it's really cool. It's like a forest. So, the question is, are we going up or are we going down? I usually interpret this card as walking down into the underworld, but it can also be, because it's a new moon. Wait a minute. That is a waning moon. So we're heading for the dark of the moon. Yeah, so we're heading towards the new moon. I love crescent moons. Anyway, it can also be heading up the stairs, and it's the 9 is the last, the 10 is the last one in this suit of wands, which is fire, which is both physical and spiritual. I'm interpreting this kind of tonight as more spiritual, but it could be something you're doing. So 9 is where you are almost at the end and you feel exhausted because you've been going and going and going and going, and you're like, am I there yet? No, not yet, but almost. So don't give up. But you might be feeling rather overwhelmed and tired about now and thinking, I don't think I can take anymore. Well, yeah, you can, because after that I pulled the Three of Wands, and this is really good energy. This is envisioning a new future for yourself. Threes are good. It's like a three-legged stool. Okay, it stands on its own. But this is about, I love the way she uses color. This is Kim Krans, Krans. I think these are beautiful cards. This is about envisioning a new, let me see how she puts it in the book. I think it's about envisioning a new future, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's where you don't listen to anyone but yourself. Yeah, envisioning the future. Okay, it says you've had continued support from others. You formed a sense of self, of values and morals, but now it's time to rely on yourself for guidance. Clarify your goals, yes, and cast others' needs and opinions aside. The future is infinite and it is yours. No one else can see through its layer of light and shadow. So, and that's interesting because as I was looking at these cards, I thought, there's no relationship here. It's all like inner. It's, I don't feel any other people. It's all about us. So this is, decide for yourself what you want. And, if somebody else says, I think you should do, no, you go to your own heart and ask yourself. And Leo, I said Venus, and we've got the Sun, Venus, Black Moon, Lilith in Leo. That's the heart. So it's time to look into your heart and find out what you really want and honor that. And then I drew the Ace of Cups, which is a really nice card because this is the card of blessing and good emotion. There's a place in you, and again, I'm feeling like this is a very internal reading. There's a place inside you, no matter what the outer looks like, no matter what you're going through, where it always contains something that's life affirming, life nourishing. So go within and find that. And also it can also be a blessing that comes in from the outside, where all of a sudden, I went for a walk the other night. I was really in a bad mood. Okay, something bad had happened. I was really, really in a terrible mood. And I went for a walk, and within like 3 minutes, I had seen a red fox, which I rarely see. Then I saw a little rabbit, which is not uncommon around here. Then I rounded the corner, and it was just barely dusk, and an owl started hooting where I'd never heard one before. And then I looked up, and there were bats all over my head, not on my head, flying over my head. And I thought, oh my God, four beautiful creatures, or, kinds of creatures in 3 minutes. And that was my Ace of Cups. I just felt like everything's going to be okay. And it calmed me down, and it gave me, this is like, someone offering you, I was going to say a drink. I don't mean necessarily alcohol, but like a drink of an elixir. Like, this is the elixir of life, and it's yours. You may not feel it, but it's inside you somewhere. It is. I thought I would draw a couple of fairy cards, so I drew the Magician. And here we are, creating and manifesting. This is like, okay, just like I said, choose what do you want to manifest, because we're heading for some really intense energy coming up where I believe we will be able to manifest. And we already are. We've got Mercury and Mars in Virgo, Jupiter's in Taurus. We've got a lot of earth energy. That's manifesting. So think about what you want very carefully. Look at your, go into your heart, and then start making a plan. How do you think you can do this? And then we get another blessing. We get the fairy card of the blessing. We are blessed. Your vision will be blessed if you listen to your heart and go deep, really, really try to be balanced between, again, this is about you. This isn't about meeting other people's needs, although I'm not saying not to, okay? I'm just saying this is about, what do you need? What do you need? And of course, we all have responsibilities to others, and sometimes we can't escape those, but you can still take care of yourself. But look to the future and see if you can decide what you really want, because your efforts will be blessed right now. Let me draw just one oracle card, just one, and then I'm going to draw one animal card. Okay, we got this not long ago, poised. This tells me that we're just, you're just in the position to be, you're just almost ready for action. You're poised, and it's almost time for the, for the starting gun to go off and the race to be run. So get your ducks in a row and think about, this is about what your spirit and heart want. You need that to make a plan. Nightingale spirit, love is all around. Okay, well, we've got Venus conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and again, Black Moon Lilith can feel kind of dark, so some of your dark side might come out. You might have some anger or some, that feeling of, I'm going to do it no matter what, and I don't care what anybody else says. You might feel like you're being pushed around. Black Moon Lilith was shamed and rejected. If you're feeling that way, try to go within yourself and find the Ace of Cups, because there is a blessing waiting for you. Love is all around. That is true. Okay, so kind of an inner reading tonight. I seem to get a lot of those. Anyway, so thank you for listening. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And I was just trying to think if there's anything coming. There's so much astrology. I'll talk about it next time. We just had the full moon. So anyway, we'll talk about the moon later. I don't know, I'm just, never mind. Thank you for listening, and blessings. Good night.